Happy lunchtime, everyone. Michael Bailey and Paddy Davitt with you again. Feels like only this morning we were.
It was only this morning.
It feels like a long time ago, the amount we've been churning through. But the guys have done a brilliant job over at pinken.com. We thought we'd do a couple of Q&As for you. We're going to be on the website doing text Q&A from 1:15. But for the next 20-25 minutes, you've got us on Facebook Live. So get your questions and comments in, and I'll try and keep abreast of them on here. Obviously, we're reflecting on the fixtures that were released this morning, but also general Norwich City news too, I'm sure. And now that you're back from your break, Pad, we can get fully stuck into your opinions on all those too. But I guess now you've had a bit of time to digest the fixtures. Do you want to give us your rundown on what immediately hits you?
Well, I mean, immediately, obviously, I'm looking at the derby, October, February. I think those dates will probably change because they normally get switched to Sunday, don't they, on police/TV advice. So that's fairly similar, I think, to the season we just had. I think it was February when Ipswich came to Carrow Road from memory. So, that's fairly similar. But, you're looking at the start, you're looking at the end, and both, if you were to pick through it, feels quite difficult, certainly the run-in. And we all hope that by that stage Norwich are firmly in the mix. But then they take a step back, and I think most of the Championship, you can carve them up which way you want. Saturday, Tuesday, most weeks, and it's the grind that Norwich didn't deal with well enough last season. And let's hope they've learned what they need to learn. And obviously the new man swiftly gets to grips with what it's all about. But, I'm sure Fulham has grabbed plenty of people's attention.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, as you said, you start looking through the fixture list and you kind of realise how many big teams are in there and how many teams will be hoping to be in the mix at the end of the season. Likewise, as you said, the unknown quantity of what we're going to get from Norwich, especially heading into that opening day at Fulham, which, as we found out as we were going through it this morning, 3 of Norwich's last 4 new managers, as it will be, would have started their reigns at Craven Cottage, which A, is pretty unfortunate for them, and B, it offers kind of a big question mark as to what it'll be like for Daniel Farke at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, I mean, I've already been sort of asked this. The one good thing is he won't have any hang-ups at all about, curses and 86, Kevin Drinkle. We all know the sort of backstory, some painful memories in recent years for Norwich fans to have to deal with. That means nothing to Daniel Farke. It's a complete clean slate for him. And a lot of the players he'll have brought in, yes, okay, there'll be plenty in that change room who will know all about it, know how difficult a place it's been for Norwich. But for me, I'm looking at it on a positive. What a signal of intent for Daniel Farke and the way he wants to go about things. If Norwich are to go there and get ideally a win, but hopefully a positive result, that do him a lot of good on a personal level, I think, amongst the fan base. And okay, Fulham. They had the upper hand, didn't they, in the 2 meetings last season under Jokanovic. Looked a very impressive side, but will the Canaries and these type of key players still be there come August? Who knows? He's getting touted with Premier League moves, so they might be slightly different to last season. Norwich certainly will be slightly different, both in personnel and approach. Doesn't faze me if you take out the historical disastrous run of results.
Which is what everyone at Carrow Road will do. That's what Farke and Webber won't care about that necessarily. Keep your comments and questions coming in. We'll go through those in a moment, but we'll probably start off by looking at the start as well, because as you mentioned, it is Craven Cottage, Saturday, August the 5th, for those who like dates and times. But it's Fulham away, Sunderland at home, QPR at home, and then Villa away and Millwall away as the opening month. That's 3 away games out of the 5, and I mean it's a sticky start. And you think about the effect that the start had last time. Norwich obviously beat most of the sides they came up against, but they ultimately had what was on paper a pretty easy start because they were playing teams in the bottom 6, 7.
Yeah, true. They did what they needed to do. I've had a look back, and they were unbeaten in those first 5 last season. But as we all know, this, as much as you want the good momentum and a good start, doesn't really, in the final analysis, make or break a season, does it? Because we all know how it went south rapidly after they did briefly go top in September. And those ones you reeled off do look quite tough for me. Villa, I think Steve Bruce will have them there or thereabouts this season. He's a proven Championship promotion-winning manager, so that won't be tough. That will be tough, and that's another, maybe not quite in the Craven Cottage category, but I don't recall too many positive results at Villa Park since I've been covering Norwich.
I don't think they've won there since 1993.
No, there was a Wes Hoolahan cross, Michael Turner header that salvaged a point. I think
that's right. Against 10 men.
Yeah, that was Paul Lambert's first game since leaving under Houghton. But that aside, it's been a tale of woe, so that won't be easy. And a newly promoted Millwall, well, the Den, we all know, is traditionally a difficult venue to go to, albeit Norwich had a lot of success on their last visit, as I recall. I think it was 4-1.
Yeah.
But newly promoted under Harris, yeah, difficult. So by no means is that going to be an easy month for Farker and his new boys to ease themselves in.
Tim Moore says, hi all. Hi Tim. Dave Clark, Stacey Drennan, straight on with it. They don't care about the fixtures. Hey guys, how many more bodies do you think we need? What positions? Are any more signings coming in?
Well, certainly there will be more signings, yeah. Positions, well, I think it's an open secret, isn't it? Defensively still, they need to do a bit of work there. Zimmerman, has come in. But the left-back area needs to be addressed, and centre-back as well. And then I don't think you'll see too much more further forward. I think that might hinge on outs, but certainly defensively, yeah, I think that's where the focus is now, clearly.
I think that's the fascinating thing, the outs. There's obviously players Norwich want to get rid of, but how desperate them off the books, whether there's a bit of them being tempted to keep hold of them. I think it's going to be really interesting who does go, when they go, and how they go. Yeah. Barry Taylor, morning from the US. Good morning, Barry. That's a big place, though. I'd like to know where in the US you are. Dave Clark, again, he wants to see a fox-in-the-box type striker, another left-back and another centre-back. Not too far off the mark,
I'd say probably. 2 or 3. I think he might get his wish. I mean, Stuart Webber, there was that quote after the QPR game where he said ideally he felt they need one who was slightly different in an attacking area. Now, I think that box has already been ticked with Marley Watkins reading between the lines, because we know he can play wide, but also you look at his show reel, he can play down the centre, he's got that pace to go beyond, and he knows where the goal is. You know, he's got a decent goal scoring record. So I think top end of the pitch, unless of course Jerome's been linked away, hasn't he? So going back to what we've just said, unless there's outs, I'm not sure there'll be too much more in terms of ins.
I still wonder if they'd be tempted to play either Murphy there. I don't know. It seems like something that could be tried, but hasn't been. But
that would be the right back, Jacob Murphy.
Right, yeah. Given how much did we criticise his defensive work last year, and all of a sudden he's playing right back for Eddie Boothroyd. Tactical genius, there we go. Liam Schulen, what do you think about the potential new kit? A little bit, of course, about the leaked kit. Could it be a hoax? Could it be real? If you're going to ask me to put money on it, I'd say it's probably real.
I'd agree with you on that.
I like it. Do you care, Pad?
With my professional head on, no, not really. I mean, you're the Norwich fan amongst us, mate. So I mean, in the pantheon of Norwich kits, you happy with it?
Yeah, retrosexual. I think someone replied to me on Twitter with. So I'm not going to argue with that.
Is that you?
It weren't my way. Yeah, fair point. I don't know. Now you've said
move on.
But yeah, quick. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? Tim Moore, I think we've answered your question. Tim, about the strikers. Barry Taylor, getting rid of Declan Rudd. Strange question mark. I think the key thing for this is Dec would have probably loved to have been Norwich City's number 1, but as soon as Angus Gunn comes in, he's going to be number 1 next season. Declan's got to move on to get games.
Yeah, I mean the writing was on the wall as soon as they were looking to bring in, and the guy who they brought in is Angus Gunn. I think clearly, I mean they exercised his option, but that was just the club being, as they needed to be, quite astute in terms of getting a fee for a guy who they have reared going back many years. It's a shame on that level, because clearly, and he's even spoken, I think, in the last 24 hours since he's gone up to Preston, that Norwich is his club, and of course he'd have wanted to make it here, but 26 now, he needs to be cracking on in his career, and he needs to go and play games, and good luck to him. I think never quite managed it. I mean, he had that prolonged sort of exposure, didn't he, in the Premier League season, and that was tough because he's playing in a really exacting league behind a defence that wasn't quite as watertight as they needed to be. So that was difficult for him to try and establish himself in that environment. But I think from what we've seen, and certainly that loan he had at Preston that season long, I think he's more than adequately able to be a good Championship keeper. But he needs to go and prove himself, and he's got a battle on there, because I think as you rightly said, I'd agree, Maxwell's a good keeper.
He did really well down at Carrow last season, probably quite similar to Dec as well, and good with their feet. I think, I don't know, is Declan good with his feet? I've got this memory, I haven't seen him play enough recently to Didn't seem a chance.
Obviously not as good as Mr. Gunn by all accounts.
Well, no, that's a very, very fair point. Keep your questions coming in. Let me just go through some more of the fixtures, because that's predominantly why we're here. September, Harry Redknapp down at Carrow Road to kick that off before Burton. Then we're going to Sheffield United for the first time in a long time. I've never been to Bramall Lane. I'm personally quite excited about that, and I'm sure I'll be disappointed when I get there. Bristol City at home as well before a tough end to the month. And Middlesbrough away in the midweek before Reading away on the Saturday at the end of the month. Should be said, Middlesbrough and Sunderland both Tuesday away trips. Your exact. Well, look at this map. We've got the map here. Paddy will show you. It's also available on Pinken.com. The two trips that are furthest away, right up here at the north, are the two Norwich have got to do in midweek. Those Norwich City fans.
It's ridiculous. And there's a supposedly an informative Q&A with the fixture compiler of the EFL, which is on their website. We've got it on our website today, and in there it's like, well, we try and minimise the amount of travel, and we have metrics where we can see what the average travel should be midweek. I'm sorry, but that doesn't stand up to sending Norwich fans to Middlesbrough and Sunderland both on a Tuesday night. I find it ridiculous.
I mean, it's only there's probably 4 or 5 away midweek games all season, if that. Away, because obviously half of them will be at home, half of them will be away. October, Steve Bruce's left Hull. It's what's his name?
The Russian Leonard Slutsky or something.
That's the one. Yep. So he brings Hull to Carrow Road. Then it's the first derby at Portman Road, October the 21st. Before we have Derby coming to Carrow Road, Bradley Johnson's possible return again, and Wolves. So that's not too bad. In November, Bolton away. They, of course, newly promoted. Barnsley at home. Forest away. Preston at home. Quite a quick month there. Declan Rudd possibly back at Carrow Road. And then December will round off the year. Cardiff away is a Saturday, thank goodness. Sheffield Wednesday at home. Leeds away. Brentford at home. Birmingham and Burton away then over Christmas. Let's be honest, Paddy, you're quite happy with that because you'll be in the Midlands.
Yeah, that's a home fixture for me to go from the West Midlands conurbation to St Andrews. But all joking aside, we know how tough it was at Burton. We know how tough it was at Birmingham. I know it's different management, but those two will be very difficult, I think, in the space of what is a congested period. And again, to re-emphasise the point, Daniel Farker, he said it at his unveiling, never before experienced a Christmas period of games. You know, it's always been the winter break in Germany. He's going to have to learn fast because he's going to have to manage his resources at 2 very difficult outposts. Which
is very interesting because I think Stuart Webber, when we were speaking to him, kind of said that he, having dealt with the whole of this situation with David Wagner at Huddersfield, he reckons he knows the pitfalls and where to pick up on them. Good. So at least someone's been through it all, and hopefully he can advise then Farker on how that goes. Brentford at home is the 23rd of December, Birmingham away on Boxing Day, and then Burton away on the 30th. And then Millwall at home on New Year's Day, which of course will be lovely. Let's get some more questions, shall we? Richard Dicky Davies, hello Richard. Do clubs get any say in away fixtures? I'm obviously mentioning Borough and Sunderland. I think the clubs get a set number they can request, don't they?
They can. Apparently there's a questionnaire goes out to each club and they can, as you say, but I think it tends to be more the derbies in Norwich's case that they don't want them falling on dates which are going to be either A, tricky, or B, hit the attendances. Not that that's usually an issue for the Ipswich Norwich games, but I think there is an amount of requests that can go from clubs to the league, but ultimately it'll be the league and probably I think the police are consulted as well, aren't they?
So it's the league's fault if you want someone to blame. Craig Brown says hello there, Craig. Swindon Canary, why the ring on your thumb? My wife/girlfriend gave it to me, so I hope that's okay. And also Adam Harvey says, what do you make of the run-in towards the end of the season? So let's quickly skip down that on my phone. So it's not the easiest thing to look at. But if we start from April, QPR away, Villa at home. QPR away is Easter Monday by those things. Villa at home, Sunderland away, Cardiff at home, Preston away, Leeds at home, Sheffield Wednesday away. Those last 2 games are pretty tricky, but it doesn't strike me as the world's worst run-in.
No, I mean, it's Sunderland away though, isn't it? So I mean that clearly is going to be a test.
Villa at home, especially if they're up there. But.
Yeah, and we all know what happened at Hillsborough last season. But again, it's hard not to hark back and go even further back when we're talking about the Fulham curse. But the reality is this should be, we're being told this is a new way forward, and that applies, I suppose, when you're assessing these fixtures. Really, there shouldn't be anything to fear in this division. I don't personally think it's a division like last season where you had a Newcastle. Okay, Villa didn't match up, but they looked like they were going to be the two standout clubs. You had the Sheffield Wednesdays, the Brightons, who were progressing, and in Brighton's case, they managed to get over the line. I don't see that this time round. I think there's, Sunderland, there's a lot of work that has to be done there.
Yeah.
Borough will have some new management under Gary Monk, so that could go one or two ways. And Wednesday have tried, spent big money and failed. So
I'm actually surprised that Carvajal is still there, because I thought after 2 goes he might have gone. So that is going to be a huge season for him. Oliver Savoury says, wife/girlfriend, what, they both bought you a joint gift together? No, she was my girlfriend when she bought it, and then she's now my wife. Anyway, the football. We jest. Let's have a look, shall we? Julian Scott, we all know we need to strengthen the defence this season. What do you think of the signing of Christoph Zimmermann as a first step to achieving this? Obviously, I wrote and said quite a lot about that last week. Paddy, your first chance to talk about it?
Well, obviously, I don't know him in terms of his footballing ability. I wouldn't have even claimed to have heard of the guy prior to him. But what I do like is the physique of the man. He looks a proper athlete. Almost a boxer's physique. I thought, I don't think he's going to get out muscle by bruising Championship centre forwards. And from what he said as well, that's his game really. The physicality is something he relishes. So, Farker apparently wants him to be better in possession. But I think Norwich have got 1 or 2 of those type of centre backs still on the books. What they haven't got is the gnarled, stick their head where it hurts and defend their lines at all costs. So if it does what it says on the tin, that could be a good sign.
Well, we're hoping for a press conference with Zimmermann and Pritchard alongside each other, just so we can see the difference in their heights. I think that would be fun to see. Jonathan Parker, glad to see more of Farker's staff coming in, particularly the fitness guy. Never looked fit enough last year, and they may have led to mistakes and late goals. Fair to say that I think it's, I've got to remember now, Christian Fluffman is an analyst who's going to come in, and then Chris Domagala, I think, is the fitness guy at Borussia Dortmund too. They're, I believe, both coming in. Nick Davies' departure was interesting. We kept asking them last season, didn't we? Are they fit enough? Is that an issue? And all we ever got back was no. The stats say they're so fit. I can show you the numbers.
Yeah, I can show you the numbers, but we could show him the league table and the amount of games in the end of games where they seem to be toiling. Barnsley, that sticks in my head. Barnsley at Oakwell, and that wasn't even at the end of the game. They just got ran over the top of. Huddersfield as well. Younger, fitter, hungrier sides. And certainly if you would think with the German mindset to preparation, that won't be the case this time around.
Fingers crossed. Liam Schulen, how do you think Lafferty will get on at Ipswich if he signs for them? If he signs for them.
Interesting.
It would be. I can't see how they could afford him. It probably says more about Carl Lafferty's career if he joins Ipswich than if that's the best offer if he gets.
I suppose the free transfer element makes it a bit easier to do a deal, doesn't it? In terms of no fee involved.
Simon Bellis, how much more wheeling and dealing do you expect? Who do you expect to leave and come in? Would you like to put in? Yeah, who do you think won't be here when the season starts?
Dorrans won't be here. Howson might be here at the start of the season. I'm not sure he'll be here by the end of the window. Other than them two, no, I think you get into a point there where you need the numbers, don't you? Really. I think ultimately they need to do 1 or 2 bits of business still. Okay, I'm hearing figures around the 300,000-500,000 mark, that is for Declan Rudd. But in terms of I think you've analysed the finances. They need to generate millions basically this summer, and those type of figures aren't going to cut the mustard. So, I think it'll be 1 or 2 lads who they can command decent money for.
Indeed. We'll just run through some of the other fixtures in case we've missed any out. Well, we have. We were at January, so we've got Bristol City away in January, Sheffield United at home, Brentford away. That's January's not too bad then, maybe. February, Middlesbrough at home, Derby away, Ipswich, of course, in the Derby at Carrow Road will be February the 17th, although that may well be the Sunday, of course, as we said. Swiftly followed by a trip to Molineux, so Norwich fans' 2 favourite clubs there in the space of 2 games. And then Bolton at Carrow Road. March is Barnsley away, Forest at home, Hull away, Reading at home, Fulham at home. That run of 3, possibly 4 games. In March. March looks like it might be a big month there. So there we go. That's the fixtures, and we've already given you the run-in. What more questions have we got on here? Ollie Rouse, Norwich to make it to the FA Cup 5th round. Therefore, Ipswich home moved to midweek. Derby under the lights, and the last one was memorable. Well, it would be nice to have a derby under the lights. That's far too much hypothesising for me at this stage of the day, but sounds good to me, Ollie.
Fifth round of the FA Cup.
Yeah, apparently. There you go. Good knowledge. Michael McCrory, I can't say that. McCrory, are we going to buy any strikers? Yeah, why not? Tor Pongtorn, how many more defenders in need before the Fulham game? That's from Ty Canaries. That is the key thing, I suppose, is how much business they can do before the actual season starts. You've already indicated we've got the window as well. So
by all accounts, I think Stuart Webber isn't a fan of the against the clock, seconds to go, deadline night craziness. So if at all possible, I think Norwich will try and do their business early, and amen to that is all I can say. Yeah,
but we'll still be doing our full deadline day service, which will be awesome, won't we, Pad? No, it's not. I'm not. You're not backing out of it. They'll do loads of business on deadline day. Well, if Pad's
of course we'll be doing it.
Of course we will.
Of course we'll be doing it.
Hashtag no circus.
No circus.
No circus. Craig Brown and Matt Canning. Would you take Bradley Johnson back? Sign Bradley. I mean, I wrote the story having spoken to Bradley. I don't for a moment think that Bradley Johnson will be coming back anytime soon because I'm not sure he fits the mould of what they want. But they missed his character, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
I think that covers it, really. Let's have a look then. Ben Woodward, do you think there will be any big names coming in? Or players we'll at least know of?
It's a tall order. I think we might have heard of one or two, but I don't big names to find. If that's big salaries and big transfer fees, then the answer is no.
Last couple of minutes, so if you've got something you desperately want to ask, get it in now. Or, as I said, we're doing a live online debate at pinken.com/debate. Join us there, and we'll do it all in word form. You can ask the same questions if you want. See if you get the same answers. Craig Thompson, expect Tim Closer to stay? I guess Pritchard has no choice but to stay.
Well, every player has his price. That's the words of Stuart Webber, so it depends what the valuation they have of a Pritchard and which clubs would be willing to meet it. Yeah, Closer's an interesting one. When we were talking about possible outs, it kind of slipped my mind, but again, if you haven't got what you need in the centre-back areas, I don't think you could let him go. So, that again might hinge on who they can bring in.
And who comes in for him, I suppose, as well, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And the money side of it as well. They wouldn't want to take a major hit on him, I don't think, if at all possible.
If at all possible. Craig Friend, am I correct in saying Dean Kiley is the set-piece coach? Know of any changes going to be made in that area? Been a major downfall for us in the last two seasons. I mean, yeah, I remember having a quick chat with someone about how good Dean Kiley's record with set pieces and coaching was at West Brom. So he can really do it. Were Norwich that bad at it last season? Probably defensively, maybe. Or
I think they were. Leeds has suddenly gone popped into my head. I mean, the couple of corners at Leeds, and as much as Dean Kiley can be an astute coach in those areas, but you need the player. And we're talking about Zimmerman. He's a defender clearly to his boots. You need defenders who can sense danger, and I think too often, and thankfully they've already departed this summer, that wasn't the case, and Norwich were punished as a result.
Go get Nucky Wells, says Colin Anderson, or Nicky, I think as he wanted to be called by the end of the season. That unlikely, I think, with the prospect of Premier League football at Huddersfield next season, it is happening. Can't rule it out. Phil Westwood, can you chaps explain exactly what Frankie McAvoy brings to the coaching setup? Well, I don't think I've ever spoken to him, even off the record.
I've had
a few chats. Hello, but
I've had a few chats with him. I think he might have been the good cop to the bad cop. Not the bad cop, no longer with us, obviously.
Binned off the bad cop.
Yeah, but again, you would think it's very difficult to see him playing a leading role at the first team level under Farker, but lower down. I think his background was youth coaching at Hamilton because that was the philosophy there. So maybe if it worked, you could see him playing it, but certainly not. Maybe not on a match day, I don't think.
I think Irvin's gone, and they're looking to bring in a British coach to be a part of the setup. So I would probably keep an eye on that one and see what happens. Right, I think we better wrap it up there. You have your fixtures, you have your latest news. Thanks so much, Pad. Thanks all for your questions and comments. As I said, pinken.com in about a couple of minutes. And we'll do it all over again in word form. Who'd want that? And loads more podcasts and all sorts over the course of the day. It's not over yet. We're only halfway through. So yeah, pinken.com for all you'd possibly want to know about the fixtures. And we'll say goodbye. Goodbye.